Rate has gone up. If you thought it was going down for a while in the mid-2000s up until financial year 2009, it was going down.
Now the question everybody wants to know is, why is it? Well, they'd like to know why it went down, but maybe now they want to know why is it going up.
Well, the reason it's going up is because applicants are engaging and examiners are engaging and are discussing the things that matter in patent applications. Frankly, they're not kicking the can down the road anymore. They're actually prosecuting, and the applicant community has been wonderful stewards of the system about this. And examiners are reaching out and they're offering ideas, and our examiner team has been absolutely fantastic and very quickly moving from a process that was not engendering resolution of issues to the process that you're seeing now that is doing a much better job in actually cooperating with our applicant community to help in a search for appropriate patentable subject matter and to not get into these stalemates that have hamstrung us into that.
Now, a couple of questions relate to this question. Thanks for that, by the way. Both in the backlog and here in the allowance rate, maybe the issuance rate. Do you think there's an appropriate rate? Do you have a target? Is there an acceptable amount of backlog?
Yeah, that's a great question. Now, in the case of the backlog, there is. It's called inventory, and it's like running any business, right? If you're manufacturing automobiles, you've got to have adequate parts on your line in inventory so that you can keep the line running. And it's similar with a large enterprise like the USPTO. We have thousands of examiners. They're very specialized technical experts, and you simply cannot take an examiner who's examining in the communications area and move them over to the biotechnology area. You can't do that. And so you have to manage an operation in which you have an adequate queue built up for every examiner so they've got adequate and appropriate workflow. Same as in your practices at your companies and your law firms, where you want your attorneys to have a nice mix of work, some new cases, some cases on their amended docket, and a good, healthy workflow. And it's the same thing at the USPTO. Now, one other thing I'll say is that you will notice target lines on some of these charts, like I won't go back, but on the backlog chart, well, the target line on the backlog chart would be way off the bottom of the chart. Like I said, it's 325, it's 325,000. We got a long way to go. There's one chart you won't see a target line on, and that's this chart, the allowance rate. And the reason is because all of us in the leadership team at the USPTO, and I think I can speak for all of my colleagues on this, we feel strongly that the allowance rate is a byproduct. It's not something that you drive to. You drive to compact prosecution, you drive to working with your applicants, you drive to getting issues through the agency and resolving matters, and the allowance rate goes wherever it goes. I personally would not be at all unhappy to see the allowance rate continue to go up, provided quality continues to be high.
I know you want to be
all the things we're doing, we will get the backlog under control. 2014, really in 2015, you'll see the pendency numbers of 10 months to first action and 20 months to final disposal coming and starting to feather in about that. So last thing I'll mention, and then we can go to more Q&A here, is people also wonder about what was going on with actions per disposal. And this is a very interesting chart that you can see. Actions per disposal. You ever wondered what was going on and you thought you just could not get cases finalized in the agency? Well, you were right. Actions per disposal had crept up over a period of time. And this chart goes all the way back to 2001, almost as far back, Executive Director Dickinson, as when you were running the USPTO. And
I think it was good numbers. I wish I'd gone back.
And what you can see is the numbers, frankly, crept up to nearly 3 actions per disposal. That's a problem for me, right? And I hope it's a problem for everyone in this room, because it's like if you're writing an application or writing a brief, if you have to rewrite that thing 3 times, that's not good, right? That is not where you want to be. You want to get your work done, and you want to get it through at high quality, and you want to get it off of your desk. And it's the same thing at the USPTO. So we've got a trend line on this one. We believe, and we can argue about this or discuss it if you want to, that the optimal actions per disposal is about 2.1. You see that down towards the bottom of the chart. And that represents, I mean, you think about it, you want to submit an application, you want the USPTO to go after it hammer and tong, and you want us to point out every single thing that's wrong because you want the highest quality patent you can get. So you really want us to give you an office action that is in some form of rejection. You want to fix that, and then you want a notice of allowance. That's 2 actions per disposal. So that's about what we're aiming for. We're not there, and we're creeping up a little bit. I'll tell you what, I can explain why I'm not actually worried about that. I think that's actually healthy too. But we are going to keep working on actions per disposal.
It's still going to use the business. Or the inability, frankly, to access the fees that are paid in. Now, this year, we had 4 or 5 years in a row where we had a commitment from the Congress and the administration not to divert, and that promise was fulfilled. This year we had something different. Over the last 2009-2010 budget, they fixed your budget at around $1.88 billion. They didn't give you that $100 million cushion in case you got more than that, and that caused a huge problem for you. Well, I think one of your more significant accomplishments, and I've said this many times, is getting a supplemental appropriation to get back 129 of that. But you've given speeches that says there's 200 over that 1.88, so there's another $70 million unaccounted for that the clients of the folks in this room paid in. What's up with that? And on top of that, you're now asking for fee-setting authority. You're asking for a temporary. Now, we have a lot of World War II Quonset huts around town here, which are temporary housing back in World War II. Is it really temporary? What's that mean? So what's up with the whole funding picture?
That's a great question. So first of all, I'm actually ready to stand tall and use the word diversion again, because look, that's what it is. Okay? And so we can use that word. The funding situation indeed has been a challenge, and I think I can again speak for my colleagues at PTO to say it is our biggest challenge. You simply cannot operate a large enterprise where you're trying to accommodate enormous fixed costs and also, as we're trying to do, to really dramatically improve this enterprise called the United States Patent and Trademark Office without a business-like multi-year approach to planning budgeting, and we simply don't have that right now. And it creates a rather, frankly, just completely chaotic situation with trying to manage this enterprise. If you took this, any of you who work in law firms or businesses or companies, if you took this into your CEO and proposed this, the model that we're on, as your funding model, you'd get probably fired on the spot. I mean, people would literally laugh. Matters are made worse by the fact that when we take the kinds of aggressive actions that we're taking, like compact prosecution, like reaching out to applicants, and conducting all these interviews, and the kinds of programs on the administrative side of the agency that have caused queues to work their way down from months to days, it causes things to happen. No surprise, it causes more patents to issue, and that's happening. It also causes more rejections to occur, and that's happening too, and that's okay, because it gives you an opportunity to do whatever the next thing is, amendment after final or RCT if you need to. It's causing more of everything to happen. That causes more fees to get paid into the agency, which has buoyed our fee collection tremendously. And so the problem that we've got at USPTO is we don't get access to those additional fees, but we have to eat the incremental expense of doing all of this additional work. Because, I mean, think about it.
Sure.
When you're issuing more patents, you've got more contractor expense, right? When you're putting out more final rejections, you've got more expense going on to process all of that.
It's like a double whammy, I guess.
It really has been, again, it's the kind of thing that you say you literally can't make this up, right? So, what are we doing about funding? We were very fortunate. We got great help from Congress in legislation that proceeded on a lightning pace. I think it went from the beginning through the House to being on the President's desk in about 3 days. And we got $129 million of your money to be able to use at the PTO. And we are putting it to work now. We are going great guns with all the things that you want us to do. And that's why you see the backlog starting to turn down and some good things happening. Now, we did not get all of the money that we collected, and collections are continuing to run very, very strong because we're continuing to double down on